Welcome to episode 20 of PixlFeed Radio, and I have my mentor, John Logar. John, what's up, man? Everybody's been asking me to get you in here because I keep dropping your name left and right. And before we get started, before I let you get started, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this man right here a few years ago when I met him. And he's like, I'll set you straight. Because you can agree with me, I have massive shiny object syndrome, and I had so much information in my head that I was all over the place. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, but go on.
No. And you're the one who literally sat me down, set me straight. And from now on, man, I thank you for all of it. I really do. So
I really appreciate it. Mate, it's always like, I got to say, I work with a lot of people and, people like yourself, Christian, that sort of run with it, take the action, fall down, make the mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and then finally zero into to what you want to do. That's probably the biggest inspiration that I get is when, people like yourself who just go, let's just get clear, let's get clean, let's follow a path, and then ultimately what happens is you start to leverage what you do. So, mate, it's been an absolute joy to watch all the stuff you've been working on. So I've never been too far away from you, my friend. I know you're in Florida. Right now I'm in Brisbane, Australia. I'm actually stuck. My wings are clipped, man. For 5 years I was flying around the world, and now I can't fly anywhere. So it's given me the opportunity to kind of sit down and have a look at what's going on and see, the abundance of opportunities are out there in the crazy times that we have. So, mate, really appreciate having me on the show, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. For those of you that don't know and heard the name, because I've dropped your name plenty of times. I mean, John, he specializes in helping people like entrepreneurs like myself or the ones watching right now to take our consulting game to the next level, to do it right, to set systems and processes, whether it's for consulting or your agency, sales, and basically put a game plan together and how to scale your agency from zero to the millions, right? You have plenty of stories from multiple people. The other cool thing is I'm part of Champions, which is like the mastermind group. And it's like, we're very close. The group, it's a tight group, and we're always talking to each other and sharing with each other everything that we know. But before we get into all of that and everybody can get the information on that, why don't we start with where you came from, man? How you started? Because I mean, you've been traveling the world. Like, he was just making that comment about clipping his wings, because if you know who John Logar is, he's never still in one place. He's traveling around the world. I think at one point you said you had like 1 million miles or something crazy like that in one of the meetings we had.
About 5 million miles.
Yeah.
And I did that in about 7 years. So yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, look, background on me, man. I've been in the consulting game. I became unemployable when I was very young. So I've been in this game for like 35 years. I know I only look 35 at the moment, but I have been in this game for 35 years. And I got my start. I was corporate, man. I went out of college. I went to a seminar and I never thought I'd be in business, but somebody handed me a book. I was 17 years old at the time. They handed me How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'd actually never read a book like that. In fact, by the time I was 17, I actually never really read a whole book. Like, you go through school and you have to read certain things, but I'd never sat down and read anything like that. And that book, for whatever reason, really spoke to me and it kind of changed my life. And the person who gave me this book kept on handing me these books: Maxwell Maltz, Magic of Thinking Big, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, all the greats, Zig Ziglar, all these guys. So I was very fortunate that somebody kind of just fed me this stuff. And so I wanted to start a business. I had no idea what I was going to do. So I went and bought a restaurant. Right, that's what you do when you want to start a business. You just go and buy a business you know nothing about. Right. And if anybody knows the restaurant game is a very tough business. But I had this idea. I love food. I love service. I enjoy going to restaurants. I thought, because I enjoy going to them, I should be able to run one. Right. I was very fortunate. I bought my first restaurant on a credit card debt of about $7,000. I took over somebody's lease. But I was very lucky that the executive chef stayed with me, and I said, look, I know nothing. I will do whatever you tell me to do. Let's make this thing happen. And I came in on the deal for the restaurant. And we built that up, and we built it up really fast, did very well. Hard work. I realized that I hated cooking, right? So how do you run a restaurant and you hate cooking, right? I didn't hate cooking. I hated prep. And if you're in the restaurant game and you're a chef, you're spending like 9-12 hours prepping and like 2 hours of cooking, right? So the fun part was for 2 hours a day. The rest of the day was just sucked because you had to go and cut carrots and potatoes. So I built that restaurant up. Luckily, I sold that restaurant. And then I was in college and I kind of had my entrepreneurial bug. And I met a guy who came out to Australia, and he worked for a very large consulting firm, one of the largest in the world. They're a multi-billion-dollar consulting firm. And I got to know him. It was over a week and got to hang out. It was a seminar that I went to. And I really opened my eyes to business and strategy and all that sort of stuff. And so he said this to me. He said, look, when you're in New York City, come and look me up. I took that as a job offer. So I literally 3 weeks later packed up my bags, flew to New York City, and rocked up to his door in his office and said, "Hey, I'm here to take up that job you offered me back in Australia." And he had no idea. Like that was a big moment. He was like, "Hey, dude, I wasn't offering a job." I said, "Hey, we could hang out in New York." Anyway, he was a senior partner in this major firm, and he said, "Well, if you want to work here, you have to go through a process." I said, I'll tell you what to do. You've taken the time to come. It's going to take 2 months. If you can hang out for 2 months and you can go through this process, I'll give you one of my mentors or a mentor to work with. He introduced me to a partner in that firm, and that person mentored through the recruitment process of this firm. I was lucky enough to get myself a job. Normally, people follow a very different pathway to work with this company. I spent 3 years there. I had a meeting with the managing partner in my 3-year tenure, and the goal was, their idea was, great, you've been here for 3 years. It's time to go partner track. It's time to give you the golden handcuffs. You're going to be corporate for the rest of your life. And this is what he told me when I sat down in the room. He said to me, "So John, you're an old timer." And I said, "What do you mean I'm an old timer?" He says, "Well, the average person in this firm only lasts 15 months. And I looked at him and said, "You mean I could have left 15 months ago? I hung out here for 3 years. I could have left a year and a half ago." And because at the end of the day, he was sitting saying, he was offering the yellow brick road to the path to riches through an organization, through a company like this. And look, it was a great opportunity. It was a great offer. The problem was everybody I worked for was divorced, was sick, depressed, angry, frustrated, never see their kids, never see their home, and that was their life. Now, they were making a lot of money. They were making millions of dollars being paid by this firm. They had no life. Their life was the firm. And I could just see the golden handcuffs. And I said, "I'm sorry, I can't do that to myself. I'm leaving. I've got to go." So I went back and I became unemployable in that day, purely because working with that organization, I knew too much. I ended up knowing too much about how business works. And I was only young. When I left there, I was only like 24, 25 years old when I left that firm. And that 3 years of experience changed my life in terms of understanding. And I was working on big, multi-billion-dollar projects. So I was working on strategy, structure. And I was being mentored by some of the smartest people on the planet when it came to solving problems. So when I went to go and get a job, I couldn't get a job as a manager somewhere or as a marketing guy, or that's just wouldn't suit my skill and what I learned. So I was actually trying to get executive positions like chief operating officer, chief marketing officer, director level positions. Nobody would hire me because when I went for a job, and it's really funny, I take this concept and idea, and I've had this, and it's helped me in business all the way through. When I go for a job, I go in with an idea. I understand the company, what it's doing, what its opportunities are, who the competition is. I do my homework. And then what I do is I devise a plan. I put myself in that role and say, well, what would it be like if I was running this position? And I would come to those companies with that plan. And oftentimes when I'm sitting down and getting to that last level interview, the person I was sitting in front of says, "I can't hire you." He says, this one person said, I can't hire you. I said, you've given us the goal, you've given us the plan, but if I hire you, I'm going to lose my job. I'm out, right? Because I don't do this for my company. So in that moment, I thought, this is ridiculous. I can't get a job. I'm super smart. I've got lots of skills, lots of experience, but I can't freaking get a job. So what do? You go and work for a maniac. I started my own business, right? Yes. And so I got my first client. In fact, very quickly, when I made that decision, it took me about a week to get my first customer. I had no idea what to charge. I had no idea what my expectations were. I had no idea. In fact, I had an idea to say, hey, I just want to solve your problems. I was in the problem-solving business. But very quickly, I met a guy called Jay Abraham. A lot of people may know who Jay Abraham is. Absolutely. I actually met him personally. He came out to Australia. I sat down, had the opportunity to spend time with him. In fact, I had him mentor me, which is really cool. And so he opened my eyes up to the whole, direct results, direct response, He introduced me to guys like Dan Kennedy. He introduced me to guys like good players in the market like Tom Hopkins and all those sorts of people.
I remember
Anthony Robbins.
I remember when you met with Dan Kennedy, man, and that's the one that blew my mind, because Dan Kennedy's like one of my idols. I mean, I have like 10 of his books behind me. Dan Kennedy's dad. Oh man, I remember talking about it when you met with him. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Dan Kennedy's the man, And G. Abraham too, of course. But
I got to learn from these people. I got to learn from these people, got to learn a different thing, and I really started to get a passion for marketing. So what you do, I started a marketing agency. I started working with companies, developing strategy, developing long-term market, like how to dominate markets. That's how I got into what I did. So I did that for governments, for banking groups, for accounting firms. I niched down, and then from there, I started to work on projects in the not-for-profit sector, and that worked really well. And I just started building. I built a really big agency. I had 150 employees. We were in 11 different locations, and we had lots of clients. And I felt miserable. I felt absolutely miserable. At the top of my game, people looked at what I was doing. They were saying, "This guy's cool," and it sucked. My life sucked. Absolutely sucked. So realized that my ladder was on the wrong wall, and I felt like saying, "Hey, what do I want to do?" My big thing was just to help people, right? I was inspired by the success of my clients. I wasn't inspired by the things that I'd achieved in life. I was more inspired by the people that I worked with. And so I felt like, what could I do to help people? So I started getting into the marketing game at an agency level in terms of, let's build companies up by developing their businesses through their marketing channels. Got into advertising, promotion. Back in the day when email came out, we were charging people. One of my favorite businesses was charging people 25 cents per email. And we would go to companies there who would have lists of like hundreds of thousands of people. So we would go to telecommunications companies and banking groups and insurance companies and say, listen, we've got this cool idea called email. Imagine we could press a button and send out freaking hundreds of thousands of these. Every time you press this button, every time you send one, it's 25 cents an email. So, somebody with a 200,000 person list at 25 cents an email, and every time, some people running campaigns of 20, 30 email campaigns, the numbers add up. It was one of the most fun businesses we ever ran, right? Back in the day when you had to pay to actually send bulk email.
And today, it was probably 100% open rate.
Exactly. It was 100% open rate, right?
Yeah.
It was really cool. Got into that, started a few agencies, and then about 6-7 years ago, somebody asked me if I could help them to establish their agency, their business. And at the time, I really wasn't looking to like coach or mentor anybody at that time. But I sat there, this person was bugging. He's like, "Come on, man, you know how to do this. Just show me how to do it, and I'll go and do it," right? And I said, "I'll tell you what, 30 grand, 30 days, win, lose, or fail. I get to keep the money. You have a business," right? And I thought that was enough to tell him to go away, right? I thought that was enough to tell him to go away. And he went, "Done." Like he went, "Done. Here's 30 grand," right? So he gives me the cash. That was really cool. But now I had to help him to establish and grow an agency, and we did that within a month. We generated over $200,000 worth of revenue in that business. Within 6 months, it was $1 million agency, and within 3 years, they sold the business for $12 million. Right, so that was pretty cool. And then I got the bug. More and more people would come and ask me, and I just started to really enjoy this idea of helping people to get focused, get clear, get established, and grow. And so for the last 7 years, I have a heavy involvement in an agency in a particular niche, and it does really well. Went from 0 to 30 million in revenue in 5 years. I've been teaching over. In fact, we've had more than 1,400 people through our programs. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I speak at a lot of conferences, go to a lot of trade shows, but I also consult at a high level on other projects. So I have another agency where I do consulting at a much higher level in strategic markets. I went into the robotics industry. That was really cool. I worked with some of the biggest companies in the world. That was a lot of fun. So that's my life, right, up until now. So what are we doing now? We're establishing and helping people to scale their businesses. We give them strategy, we give them focus, we show them how to zero into niches, how to productize what they do, leverage their ability to get out of that freelancer mode and get into actually building a solid business. So that's what we do. We've got right now 180 people that we help at that level. Some of them, in fact, one of the cool ones recently, we had somebody go from 0 to $700,000 of business in 2.5 months in the middle of coronavirus.
Oh my God.
We've got
I can vouch. I can vouch for coronavirus that it has quadrupled my business. Like, I don't know, it's insane. It's insane. That's what I was telling you before we started. It was like the first day, it was like people freaking out and pausing, and then like literally not even 4 days after, it's like, I need your help, and it's just like, oh my god, like it's good, but it's insane. So I mean, I believe it. It's crazy, man.
So there's a couple of things that are going on right now that people need to understand. There's 3 different things, right? There are some people that are just out. They are just not coming back. They have not been able to sustain themselves in a lockdown period, and their businesses are shut down. So 1/3 of the market won't be coming back to business. 45 million people unemployed in the United States, 3 million people unemployed in Australia, in the UK, Europe, massive unemployment. We've had huge unemployment issues. So 1/3 of the business market is gone. Now, we've been in lockdown now, and we're just coming out of this last, over the next few weeks, we're going to be coming out of this lockdown, right? So we're in for a bit of a mini boom. And this is why I love this time. If you think back to the last recession, right, the market, the companies that grew out of the last recession, Amazon, Uber, look at the biggest companies in the world. They boomed in the last 12 years, and they came out of a recessionary period, right? Some of these companies nobody even heard of back in 2008. Now look at them, they're household names and they're mega companies, right? We've had the biggest wealth growth in the last 12 years. More millionaires, more billionaires than ever in the history of time have evolved in the last 12 years of history. That means there's still a lot of money out there in the market. It's not, economies aren't that strangled.
John.
Right? There's still a lot of,
Okay, so remember last time I told you about the store that I sold, right? I literally decided to launch a store. It's been 2.5 weeks, I think it is. 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. I'm almost at 30 grand in sales with barely any ad spend. And the only reason why I haven't scaled is because I want to make sure my suppliers can keep up.
Yeah.
That's right now. People have money to spend. The people who have money to spend, they're going to spend it. If you put the right offer in front of them, they will take you up on it. Like, what I'm capable of. The only reason that store hasn't scaled anymore is I want to make sure everything goes smoothly. And once I get that, I'm going to pour the gas on the fire and take it to the next level again. It's people don't get that.
No, we're in a lot of opportunity at the moment. Now, these 45 million people that are unemployed in America, 10 million of those people are going to start their own businesses. They're not going back to work. They're going to invest, take their 401k. They're going to start businesses. They're going to start to bring money back into this economy, right?
Yes.
But we're going to have to shift and change. Different industries are going to grow in this period. There's a lot of industries that are going to fly in this marketplace. There's a lot of industries that are going to suffer. They're going to really hurt. And there are people who are losing their jobs and losing their business and losing their livelihoods. That's going to change in this market, right? But there is one group of people, it's about 30% of the market right now, and what they're doing right now is one thing that we encourage everybody to do is they're planning, they're strategizing, they're thinking fluid. How can I maneuver? How can I act now? What can I focus on now rather than thinking about what has to focus on the future? It's like, how do we get pragmatic and get practical? They're looking to invest. They're increasing their spend in marketing and advertising. They're acquiring their competition in the marketplace. But right now, we're in a really critical place. In every business market, this is the mistake that's happened. This is what's happened because of coronavirus. What coronavirus did is that those businesses that have failed and are failing, it showed them where they were vulnerable. They didn't collect databases of customers and build lists. They didn't capture leads. They didn't have nurturing systems. They didn't have automation. They didn't have customer communication and customer care. They didn't have those systems in place, and their marketing, most of them didn't do marketing and advertising. And so what happened was no business, vacuum, all of a sudden, holy crap, my business is broken, right? I'm fragile, right? So right now in the marketing world and digital marketing world, what do we need? We need brand new websites. Our current websites are failing. They don't work anymore, right? They're not giving us the right message. They're not talking about the right ideas. They're not even telling people how they're safe to do business with, or they're not even educating people about how we do business differently now that we come through coronavirus. So nearly every website on the planet has to be changed. We've gone mobile. 90% of search is done on a mobile device. This computer here right now, for those people who don't realize, that thing there is the most powerful computer in the world. Because what do we do? What have we been doing for the last 2 months? We've been sitting there scrolling left, right, slide left, clicking on businesses, looking at products, looking at services, watching videos. We're streaming. This is our entertainment center. This is our livelihood, right? If we don't market, if we cannot be found on this device, we're not in business. If you're not visible right now, you're not in business. So there are three things that business need to do right now that are desperate if they're going to really grow and stay in this market, because right now we're in for a mini boom. Remember I said 30% of the market has dropped off. That 30% has dropped off the market. There's a bunch of people in the middle of the market that are going to hang in there, and there's a bunch of people that are above the market who are going to grow, right? The gap between here and here is widening. And all those customers that would go traditionally to those businesses that are now closed have to go somewhere else. So businesses right now have to advertise and have to let people know that they are open for business and they can serve the market. They have to do it right now. If they don't do it right now, you're going to struggle. So right now, think about the ads you're seeing on TV. Think about the newspaper ads. Think about radio. Think about what you're seeing on the interwebs, right? Everybody's saying, hey, we're open, we're open, we're open, right? We need to let people know we're open. That's number one. Number one, if you're not advertising, you're dead. So all us advertising lead generators right now, we've got a hockey stick curve growth trajectory where businesses are coming back into the market and saying, hey, we've got to run some ads. We've never run Facebook ads. We've got to run some Facebook ads. Never run AdWords. Got to run some AdWords. Never run Instagram ads. Got to run some Instagram, right? How does this work? What do we do? Who are they looking for? They're looking for you. So if you don't let people know that you're in business as an agency, helping people become visible in their market, how are they going to find you? You have to go to the market, or you have to advertise to draw the market to you. That's the only way you're going to grow. So number one, you need to be visible. You need to be running marketing and advertising. Number one. Number two, if you have a list, if you have an existing customer base, the primary objective with an existing customer base right now is you need to actively communicate with that customer base. In the coronavirus period, I only had one client leave me, and I only had one client put me on pause. Every client stayed. Every client stayed. One client left. One client put me on pause. We offered to pause many clients to help them out. They said, no, we need to double down on this shit. We need to go.
Right.
So that's what's happening right
what
now.
I said. As soon as they call, I'm like, listen, I know we have contracts in place, and you know what? I understand the situation, and you know we've been working for a while, so obviously I want to keep you guys happy. So let's see what happens. I'll be more than happy to do that for you. But I go, right now, it's the time to triple fucking down because costs are all the way down, and everybody's just scrolling. And they wants to listen to me, 15x ROI, man, to the roof. Yeah. It's been amazing.
If you look at the S&P calculations on the last recession, I did a little bit of homework on this and show the demonstration. Companies that actually invested in their marketing and advertising and didn't reduce their costs, they saw over the 3 years in the recession, they saw a 25% growth in the 3 years of the recession. The companies that pulled back their marketing and advertising, they had 1% negative growth over that 3 year period. In fact, most of those businesses went out of business. They couldn't last 3 years because they weren't marketing. Right. So in this period, you want to build your brand. You want to let people know that they can get value from what you're doing in the marketplace. You need to be aggressively visible, right? You need to be aggressively. If you're not aggressively visible in your market, if you're not over communicating with your existing customers, letting them know what's going on, and I'm talking about communicating with existing clients at least 2 to 3 times a week, on the phone, with an email, text message, engage, right? Because if you're in the visual of your client, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to listen to you. You're the voice of optimism. You're the voice of reason. You're the voice of ideas and positivity. That's what you want to be for your clients. You want to give your clients a level of clarity, a level of assurance, a level of leadership, a level of movement. They need to see that. If they don't see that, they're going to go by the wayside. I'm going to give you 2 examples, Christian, and then you can ask. I'm happy to answer any questions. But I'm going to give you 2 examples. 2 agencies, they sell exactly the same thing. One of them is one of our champions. The other one is somebody that they supply work to. They're still an agency in their own right, but they're supplying work to this particular person. So they're having a conversation. The agency I'm working with is working from home, managing 3 children, full-time education, home education, homeschooling because of coronavirus. So having to manage, having to move out of an office, work from home, right? Distraction. Everybody in the office work from home, right? She's got running a small business, and she's sitting there. Now, in the month of March, and in the month of April, and in the month of May, right, she generated more than 12 clients and added $75,000 a month in recurring revenue to her business in the 3-month period, right? Amazing. Now, so she's been growing. Now, in the middle of, think about it, right? Kids, disruption, all of that on top of running a business, running an agency, a marketing agency. So she's grown in that 3 months. Now, friend, other agency in another city, in a bigger city than where she's living, and is sitting there going, oh my God, this is going to destroy my life. This is going to destroy my business. Next month, I'm looking at a downturn of 75% of revenue. I'm going to make money. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know how to pay my mortgage. I don't know what I'm going to do, right? And so my friend, our champion, says to her, look, do what I do. Let's get active. Let's engage the clients. Let them know that they can do business with you, that you're open. And she went, oh, we don't normally do that. I get referrals. Wow, right? In a time of distress and recession, nobody's referring anybody to anybody because they haven't got any money to freaking refer, right? Nobody's got any cash, and people are mindful. So we see one business trajectory, and we see one business go into disaster mode. So what does this person do? Get involved with the conspiracy theories, share posts of other people who are having challenges and frustrations, telling people how bad it is out there, showing how quiet the streets are. All that sort of that was in her sphere, in her mindset. The other person had every reason to struggle because she had more pressure than most people have, and still she was able to grow her business. Now, did she lose clients? Absolutely, she lost clients. But her business was about acquiring, engaging, making sure that she was still in business. She did what she needed to do, and she's going to grow and flourish. And because she did this right now, this foundation that she's laid, that's going to leverage her. And so this is the cool thing about anybody who's in business right now. If you're an agency, you're a consultant, right now the world needs you. And the number one thing that people are buying right now is strategy. They need the right strategy to move forward. I've got guys, consultants that I'm working with that are charging $5,000 and $10,000 to do strategy sessions before they get into agency, Facebook ads, and all that sort of stuff. You've got to know where you're at, where you're going, and where you're going to, right? Yeah. So strategy is really important, and planning is really important, and being fluid with your plans is really important. So there's a big opportunity for all of us to move in the market. There's this thing in the US military, it's called VUCA, V-U-C-A. Back in 1990, when the Berlin Wall collapsed and the Eastern Bloc countries collapsed in Russia, the US military arm went crazy. They went scared. They thought it was going to be World War III, right? Because collapsing markets, right? But what they did was they had this acronym. The VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We are in very, very volatile environments. Even today, we are very uncertain about the future. A lot of people are very uncertain. We are very much in complex times, right? Lots of complex problems. We are very much in an area of ambiguity where we don't have that clarity. What we need to think of is on the other side. We need to think clarity. We need to think assurance. We need to think leadership, and we need to think movement, momentum, because fear lives in stagnant water. We need to move. We cannot sit still. We cannot panic. We cannot crumple. We need to be, that acronym of CALM, right? Clarity, assurance, leadership, movement. That's calm. From VUCA to calm. That's what we need to be.
Love it.
Right? We need calm, right? The more calm you are, the more your ability to actually adjust, make better decisions, to get focused, the more you grow. What you focus on most becomes your reality. If you're going to focus on all the crud and the rubbish and the heartache and everything that's going on in the world, and that's not to say that that's not going on. I'm fully empathetic of those people who are struggling right now. My heart bleeds for a lot of people who've lost their livelihoods, lost their jobs, and lost their lives. It does. But understand this, that we do not go off into the good night quietly, as Shakespeare once said. We have survived every freaking recession that has happened over the last 200 years. Right? We've had, in my lifetime, we've had 5 of these things. 5. I'm still here. I'm still growing a business. I'm still
better than ever.
Did we fall over? Did we make mistakes along the way? Yes, we did, and we learnt, right? So all of you who've never been through one of these things, and this one's a biggie, right? Who've never been through one of these things, you're going to learn some things about yourself. You're going to learn some things about what's going on in the world. You're going to learn. But here's the thing. What you focus on most becomes a reality. If you focus on the challenge, the struggle, the stuff, those sorts of things, that is what you are going to perform in, or how you operate in this world. If you're looking at the opportunity, if you're looking at what is important right now, focusing on the things that you have control over, not on the things that you don't have control over. This is where your opportunity is. In every genre of marketing right now, Christian, whether you're a copywriter, email marketer, funnel builder, automation specialist, go high level person, sales automation, CRM integration, web development, app development, if you are in SEO, if you are a CRO specialist, all of you are in high demand right now, because 75% of the brick and mortar world realize that they got it wrong. They haven't been paying attention to the very thing of where the market is shifting. And right now, we are watching. We're here. And if you are not here, you don't exist. So when you want to talk to a client, often say to a client, say, hey, I just want to check something. I'm just going to do a Google for your business, right? So we do a Google, right? I sat down with a solar company, right? Solar, water, Brisbane. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at Google Maps, and I think, do you know ABC Solar? Yeah. Do you know DXY Solar? Yeah. Do you know Steve Solar? Yeah. I can't find you on my phone. You don't exist, right? This is where I am. And now let's go to your website. Let's check out your website. See what it looks like on a mobile device. And he goes, this is what he said to me. He says, oh, no, we're cool on mobile. We've got a responsive website, right? We've got a responsive website. What does a responsive website do? It squeezes your website. That's all it does. Yeah. This is a WordPress configuration that squeezes your site. So anything that's at the top, everything's pushed down, right? It's like scroll. The problem is I go to his website, and yeah, he's got a responsive website. But his phone number is actually an image in the banner. So I can't click on the phone number to call him, right? I can't click the phone number, right? There's nowhere that says call me now. And now I've got to go scroll, like I've got to look, and I'm hitting the button and I'm squeezing and pinching, right? And then I'm sitting and saying, you know where I'm at right now? Swipe right, dude. Swipe right, right? That's the next step that I can do. So right now, what is your strategy, right, on this device? What is your strategy on this device? So if you don't have one and you're not visible here, the first place you need to be visible, because right now, how much money have you spent buying stuff on your mobile? Do you pay bills on your mobile?
Everything's on my phone. Everything.
Thousands of dollars. What do you think everybody else is doing, right? I used to book my airfares on this. Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of airfares on this freaking mobile phone. I used to, yesterday I went and bought stuff off Amazon because I was looking at, I need that. Bang, 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 right? Went and spent about $1,000 on stuff on Amazon.
I buy stuff off ads just so I can go through the experience myself. I do it all day long. Amazon. Like you mentioned a book. As soon as you mention it, I look it up on Amazon. I just order in one button click. Like, all my bills, like food, everything.
Services,
right now,
product, everything.
Right now, I literally spend about an hour a day on TikTok just to see how people are using the platform. No, that's serious. Yeah. And I bought stuff from TikTok just because I want to see how the ads work. And I'm telling you, man, people don't, this obviously, but most people don't realize how big this is because they become so accustomed to it. They're just like, they're not thinking about it. And
this is the new ATM machine.
Yes.
This is the new ATM machine, right? So understand, we don't even need folding stuff anymore. We're just going tap, 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 tap on this device, right?
Right.
So understand, if this is where we're heading and this is what we're doing, that gap is widening and getting wider, and so there's massive opportunity for the gap in the middle. But that's why for the next 6 months, we're going to go for a mini boom. In the next 6 months, more businesses are going to close down than ever before. They're not going to be able to handle it. They won't be able to survive because they haven't prepared. They're not managing themselves. And so those businesses are going to go. So as those businesses go, in the next 24 months to 3 years is where the biggest boom will occur, because the gap between where those that have been growing and the gap that leave the market, the gap is going to be really wide. And so that in there is the opportunity. That's where companies in that 3-year period, that's where you build multi-million-dollar businesses. That's where you build billion-dollar companies. And people are looking for ideas. I spoke to a VC guy the other day, and he's got $3 billion worth of checks to write. He's got to fund $3 billion worth of cash that they have to spend this year on ideas, not on actual real businesses, on ideas for businesses. That's the sort of money that's sitting out there. The last thing I'll say before I let you go and ask all the questions you want, just to give perspective for those of you watching, and I really appreciate the time. The last thing I'll say is this. Is one of the things that we have to also realize is we've been in lockdown right now. And what have we been doing, right? We've been Zooming, we're sitting on our laptops, our iPads, we're streaming, we're doing all that sort of stuff. But when we're in our home, right, and I noticed this, by the way, I'm homeless at the moment, but when we're in our homes, and I know this from friends of mine, they're sitting at home, and what are they doing? They're looking and saying, holy crap, we need to redo this kitchen. Jesus, we've got to fix those windows up. Man, there's cracks in the wall. We need to get the house painted up. So they're sitting there and they've been making lists of all the things that they need to fix in a home, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Tens of thousands of dollars. And all these contractors right now that are sitting out there in the market, renovation in this period is going to grow. The next 3 to 5 years, if you're a contractor and you're in a renovation market, you are going to make a mozza in this marketplace. If you are a builder, it needs to get into the reno market, not the building market, because builders will fire people and renovators will hire people. So we're all sitting down thinking about all the broken shit that we've got, and we are going to buy. We're coming to this market, we're going to buy. If you're not visible as an owner in the market, this is for your clients. If they're not visible saying, hey, you're renovating your home, let's help you. We've got a deal, we've got product, we've got inventory, we're open for business, and you're not advertising and promoting that, the guy who is are the ones that are going to pick up all the deals. The guy who is are the ones going to pick up all the deals. So those are some of the things you need to be watching out for. Those are the things you need to be aware of. And by the way, everything that I've just shared from an outward perspective also relates to you, us as business owners. How are we becoming visible? How are we seen, or how can we be accessible to our market that is looking for our business? I'm talking to a guy who closed 25 deals last month, 25 Facebook ad deals last month, right? Businesses. Another guy I'm talking to, 123 clients they picked up in May. 123 new clients in May for SEO and Facebook advertising, right? In 1 month, right? And then I'm hearing other people who can't even get one client, right? Understand that the market is huge. You need to put yourself in front of the freight train, and it's not that difficult to do. It's not that difficult to do. So over to you, man. Ask me whatever you want.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask questions that I know the answer to, because it's better when it comes out of your mouth. But it's stuff that I know people will ask anyway. So, well, first of all, I want your opinion on something. And because I actually touched up on this in a couple other videos. I think another shift, and correct me if I'm wrong, another shift that we're going to see right now is people who lost their jobs, obviously, that are thinking like, oh my God, I can't find a job. Like, what am I going to do? Right? Like, so to those people, because I get those people are watching these videos on this channel too, some of them, like, the money's out there. You just got to know how to find it. And you just got to put yourself in the middle where you can make the connection with somebody else who can fulfill whatever it is that you're offering if you don't know how to do it. Right. So the best thing that I tell them is like, well, first of all, you got to educate yourself a little bit and know at least how it works. Right. And then all you have to do is send an email or pick up the phone, man. People don't want to pick up the phone. That's my biggest pet peeve. And I know with you, it's the same thing. People are scared of the phone or sending an email. You have like the touch of sending the most simple emails. And that was like one of my biggest problems, that you will tell me just a one letter. I'm like, really? And you're like, just do it. And then we were at Champions in New York. And then I closed a deal on the Champions class the next day when the guy answered me. So, so let's explain that to people that, the basics of like, if they're afraid, if they're stuck, and then I'm going to get into the more intricate stuff. But
okay. So what you're hitting on is correct. Right now, you haven't got a job, you need to get a job. Right now, the contractor market, actually having a skill of some kind that is of benefit, is growing. I'm hiring for 5 positions right now in my company, 5 different positions, right? And they're full-time positions. I'm in hiring mode. There's lots of people in my world that are hiring like crazy. But here's the thing. Something that you need to understand. In this market with this massive unemployment, there's a couple of things that the governments are going to do. What happens in recessionary periods when there are huge, massive unemployment, the government will start to subsidize reskilling, upskilling, right, and certification. Training is big. That's a huge niche market right now, training. So for those who are out of jobs, you've got opportunity. Right? You can shift careers, you can pivot, but you can actually have your education and training subsidized, and you can even have it subsidized whilst you're learning on a job as well. So these changes are going to happen very, very quickly. You're going to see massive growth in those areas. Now, if we're going to start our own businesses, here's what I recommend you do, because the idea is you've got to go and get your first client. First paying customer, right, is what you want to get. And you need experience, and you need to know a lot of things. But there are really 3 things that you need to be very mindful of. If you have an understanding, or you have a skill, or you have some knowledge, and think about where you came from, if you've been working in a particular job or a particular type of business, and you know the problems or the issues that are in that business, and you know that you have an idea of how you can fix those problems, then what you want to do is you want to go and put 4 or 5 people down, or pick businesses like the business you work for, think about them and say, if I was to reach out to them, how would I solve a problem? How would I deliver a solution to a common problem that I know that is happening in the business? So I'll give an example of this. I'm going to pick the worst business right now that has been struggling the most. That's the restaurant business, right? So if I'm in the restaurant business, I know that I realize that, we used to collect all these business cards in the restaurant business. We used to have these shoe boxes at the back with all these names of people in the back of the business, but never could take that information, put it in some way to use that to send it out to the marketplace. But I know that the reason why we collected it in the first place is because they were customers of the restaurant and we wanted to invite them back, but we never invited them back. So if I was in the restaurant game and I knew that for a fact, I would go, listen, you know how many restaurants got shoe boxes of business cards in the back that they've collected and never used, right? Some of these people are still around, right? There's people around. Some of these shoe boxes will be filled with hundreds of business cards, right? So what if you went to the restaurateur and said, listen, you had to shut down, you're coming out of lockdown, you need customers to come into this restaurant and you need to let them know that they're open. I'll tell you what I do. Do you have a shoebox or have you collected business cards, or do you have a list, an email list of customers for this restaurant, right? They'll go, yes. I'll tell you what to do. Give me the cards. I'm going to put them in a spreadsheet for you so we can see how many people you are. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make an offer to those people. And so if I can do this for you, if you just give me the cards, I'll set this up for you. And then all we're going to do is we're going to put this in a really simple system, and we're going to invite those people to come and join your restaurant. As you're growing, as you're opening up, you need to let people know that you're open, that they can buy your food, and that they can do this. And I'll tell you what, if I do this, will you give me, right, $500 to $1,000 to get it done for you, right? You can do, but once I've set this system up, right, we can, if you want to, I'll come back to you, we can run a campaign every single month, re-inviting people back into the restaurant, starting to fill the restaurant. So if you just give me, and if it doesn't work, I'll give you $500,000 back, right? If it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back, right? So you shouldn't have to pay if it doesn't work. So do you think if I got the list, put it in a spreadsheet, and by the way, I wouldn't even need to do that. There's technology right now where you just take a photo of the card and it automatically puts the thing in a spreadsheet. So I know that I'm going to take me I'm just going to get a kid or somebody or a friend to just take photos of the cards and dump them into a spreadsheet. And that will happen like in the next hour. I'll have freaking 1,000 names in a spreadsheet, right?
I got to stop you for a second. Because anybody who's watching this right now, I don't even know how many videos this channel has. I know it's close to 100. And I bet you out of all those 100 videos, at least 80 of them, I talk about how important having a list is. The list is the business. You have to have a list. And this is exactly why, because now Logar is going to show you why. And I said it a million times. It's a personal ATM. People forget about it.
I've always said that your list is your real estate. Your list is your real estate in your business. That's the most valuable thing you have, is the asset is your list of customers. So this is just an idea. I'm not suggesting everyone run out and become email marketers for restaurants. Right. I'm just giving you an idea. If you want to make some money, or if I was going to make some money, if I knew a way to make money, I know how to make money real fast, right? Offer a service that is useful, solve a problem that is relevant, right? And the problem that I've just highlighted is relevant and it is useful, right? And then I would go and say, look, I'll do this, and say, great, we're going to do a deal. We're going to invite them in, and let's fill up the tables you're allowed to fill up, and invite people to come and book their dinner with you. And let's see what happens, right? Now, if you fill it up, right, then what we're going to do is we're going to do this every month. We're going to do this every month, and I'm going to charge you a couple of $100 or maybe $300 or $400 just to go and send a campaign out once every month. So now this client's going to be paying you between $2,000 a year for your service, $2,000 to $3,000 a year for your services. They're going to make tens of thousands of dollars in sales, but now you've got one restaurant. Now you've got one deal, one restaurant, and then you go, hey, I help Spargo's down the road to reopen, get their list up and running, get their campaigns, and look at them. They've got people coming in Monday to Sunday, and their restaurant is full. Can I do the same thing for you, right? So all I'm going to do is just literally go and use that one restaurant, right, that I've got a result for. I got paid for my result, and I just go and replicate that. And as I build that, I can build my confidence. That's an example. If you have a skill, if you have a knowledge, you understand a problem that is being solved, then what I would suggest you do is go and offer to solve that problem. Don't charge for it. Just offer to solve that problem, because what you want to do is you want to get a result. And if you get a result, you can replicate that result over and over again. That's where your leverage is. So the idea is get your first customer. And that's the thing. The only thing every business owner on the planet right now, so for you, Christian, with your e-commerce store, the whole focus is get to the next sale, right? The next person that I can encourage to hit that buy now button is my next sale, and then the next person up is my next sale. It's the same thing in being a consultant, right? You've got to get to your first client. You've got to get to your next client, and then your next client. Before you know it, you've got a whole batch of clients. Think about your skill. Think about your idea. Go and offer to solve the problem for somebody for real, right? And say, hey, look, I'll tell you what. So I'll give you a perfect example. One of the guys that's in one of our programs just started his business. He's starting a web agency business. And, perfect time to do web agency, by the way. But what he did was he went to a guy and said, listen, let me barter for your services. If you give me some of your services, I will build you a whole new website, right? So he did. He built them a whole new website. And the guy said, hey, like, we're in the hail damage business, and I can't fix it. We haven't had any hail, so I can't barter anything for you. So this is what the guy said to him. He said, look, let me pay you for the website you built for me. Let me pay you for the website. But by the way, can you, and this is the question, right? Can you help me? We need help with our Facebook ads. We need help with our PPC, and we need help with SEO. Can you help me with that? Now, this guy knows nothing about AdWords and SEO and PPC. So what is he going to do? He's going to find a white label provider and say, okay, great. Let's plug in a simple SEO campaign. Let's plug in a simple AdWords campaign. Let's plug in a simple Facebook campaign. So we've gone from a client that's gone, yeah, I'm happy to accept a free website for you for trade, to, look, this is great. You did a great job. Let me pay you for that website. And by the way, we need some traffic. We need customers. We need to let people know, how do we get people in this website? So this guy's from nowhere has literally stepped himself into a business like within a matter of days, right? And by the way, he didn't even build the website. He's a third-party provider for $40 to build a website, right? He went to Fiverr for somebody to build a basic website for him, right? So here's the thing. If you've got skills and you've got understanding and you know what there is a problem, go and solve the problem for somebody. Maybe solve the problem for 2 or 3 people. Give your time, share, add value. If you come with value, they're going to turn around and say to you, you know what? How can we hire you? What can we do with you? You're going to actually get paid for this, right? But once you get 2 or 3 clients like that, then you're going to fly. And the fastest way to get clients is make a list of all the people you know who are in business. Friends, family, acquaintances, connections, alumni. And think about, I go to the grocer, I go to the dentist, I go to my accountant, I've got a lawyer, I go where my car gets fixed, I go where I buy my curtains. Think of all the people you know in business. And then pick 3 people and say, hey, I got an idea. What if we could fix this thing? Can I come and just share? Can I just come and talk to you about it? Let me fix this problem for you. Right.
That's how I started
Fix
when I
the problem,
started doing
get a
it for
result.
other people. That's how I started when I started doing
There
it for
you
other
go.
people, friends and family. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fastest way to grow. My first client came from a friend, right? Somebody said, hey, you need to go and speak to Tom. And that's where I got my first consulting client ever 33 years ago. Every single person who's looking to start their agency or start a business or be a consultant, you have to start with your first client. Jay Abraham had to start with his first customer 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Right? I had to start with my first client. You had to start with your first customer. Everybody has to start in the same place. Yeah. How do most people get their first customer? Through their internal networks. Who do you know? Who do you know? And some people go, I don't know anybody. Well, if you're on Facebook, you do know people. And you can ask those people, your Facebook friends, and say, listen, do you know somebody who needs help with this? Or do you know somebody who might be interested in looking at an idea like this? Can you introduce? Every single person on this call can go get a client tomorrow. If you follow that philosophy. So if you've got a skill, always start with the skills that you have. Always start with the knowledge you have. If you have an intimate knowledge of the workplace that you came from, or you've had experience in companies that you've worked for, think about all the problems that they've had and think, how would we solve the problem? Looking from the outside in, if we could fix that problem, what's it worth to that company, right? And then I'll guarantee you, I have a friend of mine right now who's opening up a whole business in the expense reduction market, right? So where they save companies. Now, here's the thing. They're not an expense reduction specialist. They know that people need to cut their costs and renegotiate with suppliers. They know that companies are going to bleed right now and they need to reset their obligations. Right. So what did he do? He's not an expense reduction guy, but he knows that when he was working in the offices, they were constantly looking at renegotiating with their supply chain to get better deals. And he knows how to do that. So what did he do? He went to a company that does expense reduction, that has all the contacts of all the companies that do all the analysis. And he said, listen, how much do you charge for the analysis? He said, we do it for free. Oh, okay. So if I gave you a company and we did the analysis for free, right, how much do I get from the deal in terms of how you save? And this is what the guy said. If you introduce us to companies with your skills, right, we'll give you 15% of the deal. He says, well, how much is 15%? Well, he says, well, the average deal that we get is the first payout check is $250,000. So it'd be 15% of $250,000. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's okay with me.
It's like $45,000 just to introduce a client to one thing, right? And guess what? 3 companies have said yes.
That's
3
amazing.
companies.
I love it.
but they they have a certain criteria, certain qualification. But all of a sudden, guys in business 2 weeks later, he's got 3 clients, right? 45 grand per client, 3 clients. That's cash up front, by the way, right? So think about if you've got a skill and you can help somebody, use those skills. Use those skills. Right now, if I was one of the things that really I'm seeing as opportunity, there's 2 things I'm seeing as an opportunity. One, the pay per lead model, very powerful. Pay per lead, very powerful. The other one is mobile strategy. We've got to mobilize. If we don't, most businesses are not set up for this. Most businesses don't even run their advertising properly on this. But if you can come to the market with mobile sites, looking at key call to actions on landing pages on mobile, looking at mobile strategy in terms of marketing funnels using the mobile, in our internet marketing community, those people, we've already had exposure to those ideas. We already know how that works. You can go to a brick and mortar business and say, listen, I can make you look hot, not, right? Yeah. I can make you hot.com, right? Hotornot.com, let's go hot. I can make you look awesome on here, professional on here, and to maximize your opportunity to generate an outcome. Right now, the website industry, all websites are wrong right now. If you're not educating the market as to how you're honoring social distancing and healthcare and safety, if that is not on your current website, on your mobile site, or on your, if you're a person who is dealing directly with the public, if that's not on there, you're screwed. They're going to choose somebody else. Number 2, the offer that we need to make. We need to offer our offers relevant to the marketplace. Right now, we are not looking for aspiration. We're not looking for self-esteem. We're right now in the safety zone, right? We are thinking safety, protection, look after my family, my bills, make sure I've got a job, make sure my business is running. We want to be able to connect. One thing that's happened out of coronavirus is a lot of people are connected. So we're at the lower end of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. We're at safety, we are at personal care, and we are at connection and belonging. Those are the 3 rungs on the bottom. If our message is aspirational at the top of the market, we are going to cut our nose off, because that's not where people are right now. Emotion does not sell. If you sell with emotion, people won't buy, because right now we are highly volatile, highly emotional. So if we are selling on emotion and emotion together is like 2 magnets pushing away from each other. Yeah. People need results. Practical, logical. I need to know action. Here's what's going to happen now. I need to see clearly that this is the right decision. So our marketing and our messaging right now on websites is very wrong. We need to change them. Our message needs to be: here's how we help you. Here's how you get what you're looking for. Here's the steps. Here's how we make it easy. Here's how we make it more affordable. Here's the value that we provide in the market. That's the message that we need to put into our campaigns to attract the attention of customers. Because right now, everybody's looking for a good deal. I'm buying stuff all the time, and I'm looking for a deal. I know that I can get a deal, right? And so let me tell you, a lot of people are giving good deals. If you're not giving good deal, the competitor that does wins in the market. So understand your websites right now, very powerful. And by the way, talking about websites, I'm not talking about building websites for like $1,000, $2,000. I'm talking about building a strategy around this. The cornerstone of their business, the shop front window of their business is this device, right? I'm talking about building a platform, right? I'm talking about $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $100,000, that type of website, right? Not rinky-dink. We're not talking rinky-dink, because right now we've got to talk about the strategy, right? What is the back end? What's the functionality? What database does it create for you? That's where the power is right now. That's where there's big money in mobile. Mobile is huge. Mobile apps going through the roof. If I was a developer right now, I would be so busy right now that you couldn't hire me right now. That's how busy web developers should be.
No, that and right now you can't even create I have a whole freaking playlist about no code. You don't even have to know how to code to create apps nowadays. You don't. No. So you have a good idea. You can sell it, run. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And the other thing that most people don't realize is how accessible some of these CEOs are. You got plenty of stories about this. I got stories about this. Just people in our group, we have plenty of stories about this, where CEOs open the email and they'll answer you. CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, they always check their stuff. Am I right or wrong? One of the most valuable lessons that you taught me was it takes the same amount of time to go after a small business than it does a big company, right? It was something along those lines, but the idea is that, right?
Yeah, the same. If you're here's the thing, and I'll take that one comment.
Forever. That's what changed the game for me. I'll never forget that one.
let's say we're selling something for free, we're trying to give something away for free. It's harder to give something away for free than to get paid for it. You have to sell it just as much to give it away for free as you do if you were selling it for money, right? You just as hard, because people look at that and go, well, hang on a second, why are you doing this for free? Right? What you, right? I don't want this. I don't know if this is really necessary. Because people have a sense of value. They know things are worth something. So when you try and give them something for free without context, without relevance, they're going to go, I don't know, thank you, but no, right?
Yeah.
Now, to take to your point, it takes just as long to sell a small business a $2,000 a month deal as it does to sell a larger company a $10,000 or a $20,000 or a $50,000 a month deal. Right? The only difference is you're dealing with different zeros. That's all it is. But they're still people. They still have the same problem. In fact, in the larger companies, they have bigger problems. They have ships that are much harder to turn. So they need a lot more attention, a lot more strategy. And by the way, big companies right now are kicking out their big agencies and are looking for independent contractors that have specialization in their fields. So companies with $1 million ad budgets are sitting there saying, we want a PPC specialist, an AdWords specialist who just does AdWords. We want a Facebook guy who just does Facebook. We want an SEO guy who just does SEO. We want a CRO guy that does CRO. We want a developer that just does development. They're actually disseminating the skill sets. So in our world of working in this environment, we have massive opportunities. So some of us are going to be working for some pretty big name brands. Right? Name brands have been hiring independent consultants for freaking decades, right? Name brands have been for decades.
I actually haven't told anybody this, or you for that matter, but I actually had a deal with Google in New York. They reached out to me because of this channel, and we had a couple meetings, and we were ready to go. Like, freaking Google, man. I was stoked to run Facebook ads for Google. Like, I couldn't wait to just be able to open my mouth and tell everybody. But it was for a new app. I can't talk about the name, but it was to test a new app that we're rolling out. But unfortunately, this is literally the week before this started. And the app had to do with something about meeting people in person. So, of course, when this happened, they're like, we got to put it on hold. But freaking Google, man, just what you said. They were looking for a specialist that specializes in Facebook ads. And somehow my name came up, and then they ran into my YouTube, and they're like, we want to talk to you. I was like, let's talk, And
you need to brand You Inc. You need to brand You Inc. Right? UINC. Right? Yeah. That's the thing. You're the brand, right? And so independent consultants right now can do very, very well. There's 3 levels in this building this business game, right? The first level is get to your first 100K, 10 grand a month. That's a level, right? To get to 100K, it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. It's got nothing to do with your skill and your ability. It's just how you think, right? To get to $100,000, not very difficult to do. It's actually quite easy once you understand that there's a possibility. And once you see there's a whole bunch of people doing it, that's like a handful of clients. 2 or 3 clients or 5 clients will get you to 100 grand easily. It's not a lot. You can do that actually relatively quickly if you're really focused, right? So 10 grand a month in your pocket is all about mindset. That's how you think. You got to change how you think. You got to think how you serve. You think what you deliver, work out your numbers, and go and share and talk to as many people as possible. You'll get to 100K in 30 days to 60 days. It doesn't take much to do that. But there's the next level. So from 100K to $1 million, then it's all about sales and marketing. It's all sales and marketing. 80% sales and marketing, 20% fulfillment. You can buy the fulfillment, but sales and marketing is what's going to get you there. So once you get 100K, you can scale to $1 million. That's $84,000 in recurring revenue per month. That's roughly 27 clients that are paying you $3 grand a month for your Facebook advertising. That's roughly 35 clients that are paying you $2 grand a month for your advertising, right? So understand that it doesn't take long to get to $1 million with revenue, right? So here's the thing. Once we're at the $1 million, things change again. You now have to become a leader. So now you have to think team, scale, leadership, training, HR, structure, systems, process. So you go from mindset to get to 100K, get your head right, understand that you can do it, and a lot of people have done it, right? Yep. Number 2, you go from mindset to sales and marketing. Now you got to get really good sales and marketing if you want to scale. And then from sales and marketing, once you hit that $1 million rate, Now you go to business leader. You go to a leadership role in your company because you're going to hire a management team who are going to lead your teams, and that's how you scale. There are 5 core functions of any business. And in our world, if you're an independent contractor, a consultant, or an agency, these are the most 5 important things that you need to do. And right now, 3 of them are critical in this time of coronavirus. 3 of them. Coming out of lockdown, coming into this new market, 3 of them are critical. Number 1, lead generation. You've got to be consistently generating leads. That's number 1. Number 2, lead nurture. You have to nurture your leads into the opportunity of becoming a customer. Number 3, you must have a sales conversion optimization process. You have to have an optimized sales process to convert those leads and those nurtured leads into clients. That's number 3. Number 4, you need to deliver great or outstanding results to your customers to get referrals. Great, you have to deliver. Delivery is number 4. Number 5, you have to retain, you have to resell, and you have to upsell your clients. If you look at those, the core functions of where we are right now, we are in acquisition mode. We need to acquire customers. So what do? 80% sales and marketing, generating leads, nurturing those leads into an opportunity, helping those leads invest in your product or service, deliver a great result for your clients. That's a goal. And then more importantly, make sure you retain that client, make sure you resell that client and you upsell that client so they can invest more in your services. Those are the 5 core functions of any business in the marketplace. Every business needs clients. Every business needs to maximize earning revenue per client. And everybody needs a client to either refer a client or stay or come back for another purchase or buy another process, another offer in the marketplace from your services. So that's it, right? 5 things. How do you generate leads? How do you nurture those leads into appointments? How do you help those appointments become customers? How do you deliver your service to get them a result? And then how to make sure you keep them, retain them, resell them, and upsell them. That's it. That's business, right? Now, I'll say one other thing. I'll open this up to questions for you, Christian.
I'm just letting you talk because I love it. I can listen to you all day, and I'm sure everybody who's going to watch this is going to be listening.
The last thing I want to say is the goal is to get to your next customer. That's your number 1 goal. Nothing else matters in this world but getting to your next paying customer. That's a goal, right? But if you want to be in business, even as a freelancer, your worst performance is that you bring on 1 client per month. 1 client per month, 12 clients a year, all clients leave. You're probably going to lose 5 of them or 6 of them. You're going to be left with 5 clients. You're going to make 100 grand, right? You have to be bringing on 1 client a month. If you go 2 months without bringing on a paying customer, you are not in business. The real goal, if you're really building a solid business in this game, you actually have to bring on 3 clients a month. 1 client every 10 days. That's the goal, right? If you're bringing on 3 clients a month, you're going to bring on 36 clients in a year. At 36 clients in a year, you're going to lose 15 clients. 15 of them are going to leave you. Whatever's going to happen, they're going to go, right? Not going to pay you. Things might not work out. They're going to leave. But you're going to keep about 20 of them. Now, if you've got 20 of them, you're in the pocket for $1 million business in 1 year, right? So understand 1 client a month minimum for survival. Right? If you go 2 months without generating a client, you are not in business. If you're not actually actively engaging a customer, paying you money for what you have to offer, you're not in business. You are playing in business, right? And so minimum 1 client a month. But what you want to aim for is 3 a month. 9 clients in 90 days, right? Another 9 clients in the next 90 days, you end up with 18 clients. Another 9 clients in the next 90 days, you end up with 27 clients. Another 9 clients in the next 90 days, you end up with 36 clients. Some of those clients are going to leave, right? What you focus on most becomes your reality, right? 5 core functions: lead, nurture, convert, deliver, and retain, right? Those are the 5 core functions. And the last thing that I will share is that at the end of the day, right, be in business. If you're in business, let people know that you're in business. Most people don't let people know they're in business, and they don't let people know what business they're in. And that's why nobody buys what they have to offer, right? And so at the end of the day, if you care for the people that you serve and you know you've got a good product, then it's your duty to make sure they get as much help as possible from you. The purpose of your business is to deliver outstanding results for your clients. That's the purpose of your business, is that they get served. The goal of your business is to make as much money as you possibly can out of what you deliver to the market. And ultimately, you want your freedom. You want an opportunity, right? So be in business. Be in business. If you're going to be in business, then my question is, who are you talking to? Who are you offering? If you're offering something to somebody every day, you open the door to generating business. If you go one day in the month, in a 20-day month where you don't make an offer, that's a day that you are enforcing your starvation, right, as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
The one day you don't make an offer, you're not in business. You have to make an offer every single day. You have to have something out there that is encouraging people to engage and connect with you. Cold email is a strategy, right? But I find one of the best ways to do this, a lot of people don't talk about this, but in the agency world, this is something that I've been working on developing, and it's a real game changer, is the concept of account-based marketing. So instead of going out there and blasting the market and trawling, what you do is you actually don't have to have a lot of leads. You only have maybe 100, maybe 200 leads max. But these 100 to 200 leads are people that you want to work with and that you know you can solve their problem. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to build that relationship so that they call on you, not the other way around. They're calling on you. But the way that you're doing that is you're delivering value to them, and they see that value. They see your authority very quickly, and they'll start asking you, hey, how can you help us? Just like Google found you, Christian, you're adding value, providing that level of authority. They turn around and say, you know what, this would be an interesting guy to have a chat to. Let's reach out to him. So, but you didn't have Google on your sites, right? If I had Google on my site, I would have targeted that strategy to Google. That's account-based marketing. If I want to work with engineering firms, I would target my efforts into engineering firms. I only need one engineering firm to say yes. Once I got one, they'll introduce me to another one and another one and another one. And before you know it, I'm the engineering firm expert, right? Yeah. If you want to become an expert in any field, here's a cheap trick and a neat trick. If you want to become an expert in any field, first of all, get one client in that field, you'll become an expert because you'll understand how they run business, you'll understand how they do things. Get one client in that business, learn whatever you can, ask them all the questions you can so you understand how their business works. Because if you understand how their business works, all their competitors kind of work the same way. That's number one. Number two, there's this little website nobody's ever heard of. It's called Amazon, right? So on this website that nobody's ever heard, there's a section where they sell books. Apparently Amazon have been selling books for quite some time.
For a long time, yeah.
Last 5 years have been opening up retail stores. Imagine that. And Amazon online now going retail like Apple, right? So here's the thing. On Amazon, what I would do is there are people, influencers, who've already written books on how industries work. They've actually done all the questions. They've done all the research. They've done all the homework. They're actually telling you all the problems. They've already written about them. What I'd highly recommend you do is get the top 3 books in any industry that talk about that industry, or if there's a biography or somebody who comes from that industry, go and read those top 3 books. If you read those top 3 books, I'll guarantee you'll know more than anybody in the industry because most people have never read those books, right? But you're going to have a better understanding of how they work. You're going to have a better understanding of strategy. You're going to have a better understanding of where their opportunities are. You're going to see things that most people don't see because you're an outsider. But when you reach out to people and you ask questions, they're going to know that you understand things. And one of the biggest things, a good old guy, well, I shouldn't call it an old guy, Stephen Covey, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 4. This is where people make billions. This is the $1 billion thing. If you seek to understand first, seek to understand your customer, seek to understand your market, seek to understand first, then seek to be understood. That is the magic bullet. If I understand how you work intimately, if I understand your problems intimately, and I can describe those problems intimately to you, and then I come to you and say, hey, this thing that I've built or this thing that I do solves that thing that I understand, that you understand together. Should we work together? That is the easiest way. That's a magic bullet. That is the magic bullet, right? And it doesn't take much to get to the magic bullet, by the way. It doesn't take much to get the magic bullet. However, most people don't understand. Mastery is key. Understand what you do, understand who you help, understand the result that they get. You have a license to print money in any market in the world, right? Yeah. So more questions. I'll open up to you. I've got a little bit of time, so I don't know how much time you got.
No, I'm good. I'm on your time right now. No, that's a very good point. Like, you got to keep learning. I joke around. It's like keep learning, keep moving, keep watching my videos. But what I mean by that, that's what I do with my life. I read new books. Every week or whatever. When I get through them, what I'm saying, or I listen to them when I'm working out. I barely listen to music anymore. It's just book after book after book. Yeah, there you go. See,
I've been selling for 35 years, and I'm still reading sales books.
Yeah,
I've been selling for 35 years, and I'm still reading sales books.
Yeah,
and look at all these chapters that I've marked off. All the things, right? I'm still learning from a guy I mean, this guy's unreal. If you ever see any of his YouTube videos, he's awesome. Jeffrey Gilmore. I don't work for Jeffrey, but Jeffrey, if you're seeing this, I'm happy to accept referral commissions from you. But man, I'm constantly looking at these things. Oh, one other thing I want to share, and this is gonna give you an understanding, all right? Because we've all been here, and I've been here too.
I just ordered.
Yeah, there's a guy called MJ DeMarco, right? And he coined a phrase. He said something in one of the books that he wrote, and I'm trying to remember the name of the book. Just look up MJ DeMarco. Buy anything that guy writes. He's amazing.
Who is it? There's one thing. Cut off. What's the name?
MJ DeMarco. DEMARCO. MJ DeMarco. Buy anything that guy writes. He's an amazing guy, super smart, right? But there's something that he says that really resonated with me because it made me laugh. He has this thing that he calls action faking. He coins this word action faking. He says what happens is you get caught up. Let's say you get caught up in the whole motivational, personal development world, right? So you get a book and you start reading a book and you get this hit. You go to the seminars, you do the courses, and you get another hit. And along the way, all of a sudden, you just take a breath and you stop for a moment. And you look back and you go, you know what? I'm no better off from where I am. In fact, nothing's changed. I've learned all this stuff. I know all these cool things. I know mindset and all that sort of stuff. And I'm pumped and I'm motivated and I'm optimistic. But nothing has changed in my world. I'm still in the same place I was, even with all this knowledge. And so DeMarco talks about this thing called action faking. What you've done is you've gone and done a whole bunch of stuff, but you haven't learnt because you haven't implemented anything. And if you haven't implemented, you haven't learnt. There is no progress without the implementation and the action, right? You need to get feedback, you need the action, right? If you don't do the feedback, if you don't get the feedback, you don't get the action, then it's not going to happen. The guy, Franklin Griffiths, he's a car sales guy, right? He was based out of Las Vegas. I got to meet this guy. He was a crazy guy, a really funny guy. But he had this thing where he said, I got to fail 30 times a day. And that's my goal. I need to fail 30 times a day. If I don't fail 30 times a day, I have to fail 30 times a day. Okay. That was his ethos. I have to fail. He says, because to sell 6 cars a day, I got to speak to 30 people, and 24 of those people have to say no to me.
I love it.
I have to fail. So I have to aim to fail 30 times a day. If I fail 30 times a day, I'm selling 6 cars. If I'm selling 6 cars, I'm the biggest salesperson, car salesperson in the world, right? That's freaking 30 cars a week, dude.
Yeah.
Right? 30 brand new cars a week, right?
And people who sell 30 cars a week, they're making $500,000 a year. So yeah, that's good money.
So I want to fail fast. I want to fail quickly. I want to fail fast. I need to fail 30 times a day to be successful, right? And so another friend of mine who told me, and my brain is going, a really good friend of mine, Carl, actually, he says this thing: I want to fail fast and I want to fail cheap. Right? I want to fail fast and I want to fail cheap, right? So, but the only way I'm going to fail fast and cheap is if I actually do the action bit. I only fail fast and cheap if I actually do the action bit. If I don't do the action bit, I'm not going to fail. And if I don't fail, I'm faking my actions because I'm not doing anything. I'm stuck. I'm not moving forward, right? So take the action. Take one idea and apply yourself. The reason I stop, the only time I ever buy a book now, the only time I get my hands on a book, right, is I'm actually going to do something out of this book. Now, I've actually tried quite a few things have been a reminder in this book that I've applied. And you know what? I've made sales because of this book. I actually have to pay Jeffrey Gilmore a commission because he wrote this book, right? but understand that if I'm going to buy something, I need to read it. I need to apply it. If I'm going to buy an investment in a program or a training or anything like that, I need to apply it to actually make it work. That's why when you came to New York, when you come to our live action sessions, it's not sitting there passively thinking about, hey, learning a bunch of ideas. I sat and said, dude, we're going to run a campaign here in the room. Yep. Right, we're going to make some sales today, right? And we might even make some sales tomorrow or next week or the day after. But we are going to do this live, right?
And some of us, some of us call deals on the spot. We do it. We call it out. We'll make it up. We'll make it a game. It's like, I just closed one, like in the middle of it. We lock ourselves up for 2 days in the room, and going up. Sorry, go ahead.
closed $30,000 in one day. Freaking Vlad, $40,000 in 24 hours. The next day came in, showed us the checks, the bank statements. Again,
the Stripe on the phone, when the Stripe comes in on the phone, the little ching-ching. Yeah. We always make a game out of it. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So action taking, though. Most people are action faking, do action taking. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I think that's I mean, you've met people like Gary Vee, I know you have, and like Dan Kennedy and stuff like that. And like, I think you met Russell too. I think what really doesn't scare me, but one thing that I see happening, especially since I started this YouTube channel, is that I think a younger generation are getting into what I like to call, I've heard a name called hustle porn. Well, they'll sit here and watch a million videos about how to make money or how successful or like how successful someone is. But it's like you just said, they don't take action, right? Yeah. They have all these dreams about being rich and they just expect it, but they don't take action, right?
Yeah. My question often I ask to people is, how much money did you put in your bank account last month? I'll sit there and look at a business owner in the eye and say, listen, how much did you bank last month? What did you cash in? What did you put in the bank? That's going to determine your effort. If you didn't put any money in your bank account last month, what have you been doing? Nothing, right? I had one of the things I love. I had this guy who hopped on one of these trainings I did, and he hopped on, and he obviously, he was somebody that had been following me and my ideas, and he said to me, he says, man, I've been following you for 2 years. I've been in this game for 2 years, and I'm just starting. And I went, I've been following you for 2 years. I've been in this business for 2 years, and I'm just starting. I said, dude, I just have to call you out on that one. You've been doing nothing for 2 years. You haven't started this business. You're not even in this business. If you are just starting 2 years later, you have done nothing. You have been wasting your time. You've been learning a whole bunch of stuff. But you, my friend, are not in business because you've not actually got somebody to pay you some money for the value that you deliver to the market. So you've delivered no value. You have given nothing to the marketplace. That means you're not in business. You're not starting. You're not even in business. Starting means doing. Starting means if you've started your business, and a question I often ask to people, like, are you in business? And they go, yeah, I'm in business. So, okay, great. Well, we need to be in business. So being in business, what do we got to do? And they go, I've got to get a customer. Great. How are you going to go get a customer? Tell me. How do you normally get a customer? Well, I'm going to go make an offer, right? Or I don't know. Well, okay, if we don't know, then we're not in business. How can you say that you're in business if you don't know how to get a customer? You know how to get a customer. You got to make an offer, right? Well, great. Who are you going to offer to? Well, I don't know. Well, think about it. Who could we go today, now, in this minute, to make an offer, craft an offer and say, hey, can I help you with this idea? Are you interested in this idea? Can we make that very simple offer? 9-word email. Dean Jackson, a dear friend of mine, comes up. That's his thing, 9-word emails, right? Are you interested in this idea?
I remember the first time I learned that.
You this, right? Can I do this? Are you interested in this? Yes or no? And some people are going to go, yes. And some people are going to go, no, and some people are going to go crickets. And if somebody says yes, then you've got a prospect. You haven't got a customer, you've got a prospect. And then you've got to find out, so hey, if this is relevant, if this is useful to you, why would it be useful to you? Why do you need a new website? Well, we need to look better, we need to attract people, we've got to run some ads. Right now we look like crap. Okay, so it's important for you to have this thing, yeah? Great. So if I can work a plan with you together, you and I, putting this in a way so it makes it easy for people to engage and buy what you have to offer, then I guess the only thing we got to do is to get this started, yes?
Yes.
Great. So right now, think about what your website is worth to you. What is a customer worth to you? $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, right? What is a customer worth to you? And what do you think? If we built this site and we drive people to this site, what would be your worst case scenario that you would expect? How many customers do you think in a year? You guess. I'm not going to tell you the answer. I'm going to let them know the answer. You guess. You tell me. Well, Jesus, we should be able to get at least 5 or 10 customers a month out of this sucker, right? 5 or 10 customers a month. Okay, so 5 or 10 customers to you, Mr. HVAC air conditioning company, is anywhere between 50 and 100 grand. Right, so this website that we're talking about building here, worst case scenario, is going to bring you $600,000 to a $1.2 million worth of revenue, based on what you just told me. So, how much do you think we should spend of that $600,000 to that $1.2 million on building this sucker to make it really work? What do you think we should spend? Right now, in their head, they're going to go, well, straight away they're going to go, well, at least 10 or 15 grand, right? Right?
Yeah, charge based on results, not your time. I mean, listen, like when I charge, sometimes people ask me, it's like, oh, but how long is it going to take you to implement the first campaign? So I'll go, I don't know, a couple hours most. And you're charging me X. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm charging you for the knowledge that's been up here for a decade. All the mistakes, everything that I've done. That's what I'm charging you for. I'm not charging you for how long it takes you to put up that campaign. And most people don't think like that when they're starting out.
No, that's the thing. You want to be very mindful of what the value is that you deliver. I like value-based pricing, not product-based or commodity-based pricing. So my thing is, if I'm going to charge you $1, I want to get you 10 back. And so if you're going to make 100 grand, I'm going to charge you 10. You're going to make 200 grand, I'm going to charge you 20. You're going to make $1 million, I'm going to charge you 100. Right? Yeah. Because it's a no-brainer, right? That for them, if you anchor on value, on a value proposition rather than on project, like on a per commodity position, I know I can go to get a website for $500. I can get a decent website made for $500. But I'm not interested in a $500 website. I'm interested in a website that has functionality. I'm interested in a website that's going to collect data. I'm interested in a website that's going to convert and going to grow. Well, that website is not a $500 website, right? That website is a $25K to $50K website. Yeah, right. That's or more, right? Yeah. We have one of our champions. This happened a few years ago. They sold a $1 million website, but they sold the site because it had all the functionality, had massive functionality.
Well, you mentioned this before, like in our meetings that with the group that Domino's or BMW, I think it was BMW's website, it's like $20 million or something like that. Like people don't think about
that. Domino's spent $7 million on an app, on a pizza delivery app.
Yes,
$7 million, dude. Yeah, they spent. I think they spent $11 million on email marketing last year.
That's insane.
$11 million on email marketing, but mate, they're spending $11 million. They're $1 billion pizza company.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
They're a multi-billion-dollar pizza company around the world. They're selling you $5 pizzas. They're thousands of locations, and they're making $1 billion worth of revenue. And they're emailing you. They are emailing you. They are texting you. They are freaking doing everything to you. If you buy a pizza from Domino, you'll never want to buy a pizza again.
Their follow-up is relentless. Their follow-up is relentless. I've been through it. Like it's emails, text messages. I mean, I love it. I love it. It's a funnel. It's a funnel. So.
But that's why it's $1 billion pizza company.
Exactly.
I actually reverse engineered all Domino's strategy. I actually had the good fortune to spend some time with Domino's in their headquarters, and we reverse engineered the entire strategy. And I used to sit down and say, "Listen, you think email marketing doesn't work? Let me show you how it works on steroids. Here's Domino's campaign right there. There is the campaign. That thing there, $1 billion worth of pizza sales in a year.
Yeah,
I remember email marketing doesn't work."
I remember you telling us about that a few years ago. Yeah. But listen, man, I don't want to take up much of your time because we've been going on forever. I love it. I can listen to you all day, and I have so much to thank you for. But I don't have questions. I think you answered everything I was going to bring up anyways, so I think we answered everything. Anybody who's watched this or listened or whatever, John, where can they find you? One, you got Consulting Rocket, you got Champions.
We've got consultingunleashed.com/go. But here's the thing. I'm doing something really cool on the 18th of June. We're raising some money for social projects. And what we're doing is we're teaching people how to actually sell websites for 5 and 6 figures. It's a $97 ticket for good, where 3 families are going to have fresh water tapped into their homes. They have fresh water available to their homes. 1 child is going to have their education paid for an entire year. And we're also giving a beekeeping farm to support a local village in the marketplace. So what we're doing is a 4-hour masterclass on how to sell websites at 5 and 6 figures. I've got a really cool tool that actually creates the pitch decks and the whole thing as part of the process. It's crazy. I'm going to literally show you how some of the people that we work with are selling 25 and 50 grand websites. If you go to websitesalesintensive, websitesalesintensive.com, all the information is there. It's going to be a really cool day. It's going to be held on the 18th. Now, all the recordings and all the slides will be given to you if you come to the masterclass. They will be given to you, but the proceeds are going to go to have an impact on the family. We ran another social drive to teach people how to do sales blitz. We impacted on 3,000 people's lives. We bought education for a year for 135 kids for a year. So it's called the Website Sales Intensive, the web event for good, $97. All the recordings All the things are going to be there. It's going to be live. We're going to walk you through the actual strategy to go and sell 5 and 6 figure websites in the marketplace. In fact, we're going to have some people in there who already sell 5 and 6 figure websites in that training. So if you want to see how that works with all the tools, all the resources, and you don't even need to be a coder, we're going to give you the guy who will do the coding for you. Right, and the design and the conversion-based elements. So it's $97. It's an event. It's a live event with me personally training you with a whole bunch of other people. It is live on Zoom. We record it. You'll get a recording. We've also got some bonus training in there. If you want to kick off selling sites at 5 to 6 figures, you want to be there. It is websitesalesintensive.com. That's where you want to go. It is a web event for good. We're going to help some social causes, going to do some great stuff. But at the same time, I'm literally going to walk you through exactly what we do to sell sites, websites, high 5 figures, 6 figures plus in the market.
Take it from me. You don't want to miss this. Someone who's been with Logar for years, trust me, you do not want to miss this. You will not regret it. There's no way you will regret it. If you do, I'll give you the money back personally. You send me a message and I'll send you my money because you won't. I can promise you that right now. But I'm also, I'll put all the links in the description, and then Consulting Rocket and Champions.
Consulting Unleashed. No more Consulting Rocket, just Consulting Unleashed, man. Just consultingunleashed.com.
Sorry, I'm just used to the old school name. Sorry.
Yeah. The website Sales Intensive is an event. Like I said, it's to raise money for sustainability projects around the world. It's really cool. But more importantly, I really want to show people right now, more than ever before, we need to get our online, our mobile platforms up to scratch in terms of our sites. And right now, there are people who are paying high 5, high 6 figures for sites. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Everything is going to be provided. It's going to be insane. You're going to see something really cool. But as I said, right now, the world needs better websites and better representation online. And most people discovered 3 months ago that they suck online. So this is one of the first platforms that people need to look at right now in how they look good. So if you go to websitesalesintensive.com, that's awesome. If you want to know more about me, there's some free training on consultingunleashed.com. Christian Lovrecich, man, I'm chomping at the bit to hop on an airplane so we can be in the same room. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for a year. Hopefully soon,
hopefully soon. I miss those for sure. Hopefully soon. And again, I thank you so much for doing this. And I'm telling you guys, just do it. Check it out. And John, we'll be in touch. I'll see you in the group. So, all right.
Thanks,
everybody who's watching this, subscribe to the channel, hit like, subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you guys later.